Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're going to dive into the world of PTAs.
Ooh, PTAs.
Yeah, we got a bunch of guides from you all, research summaries,
Right.
even a piece called Why Your PTA Sucks.
Oh, wow.
We're ready to get into it and figure out, what's really going on with these sometimes kind of mysterious groups.
Yeah, they are. They really are.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So before we get into what they actually do,
Right.
maybe we should start with, what they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear people use PTA and school governance council like it's the same thing.
Right.
Are they?
No, not at all. I mean, it's an easy mistake to make because they both have to do with the school.
Sure.
But they have very different roles.
Okay.
So think of a school governance council, like the board of directors for your school.
Okay.
It's made up of elected parents and teachers, and they're the ones who decide school policies
Right.
and how those big picture school funds are spent.
Gotcha.
Now, PTAs, on the other hand,
Yeah.
they're more like the action team. They work on the ground level to support the school and its students.
So if the school governance council is kind of setting the overall direction, the PTA is like, okay, let's make it happen.
Exactly. They bridge the gap between those big decisions and what actually happens, in the classrooms and the hallways.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
But wait a minute.
Yeah.
What about booster clubs?
Oh, yeah.
Don't they kind of do the same thing, like raise funds and support specific activities?
Booster clubs are really important.
Yeah.
But they usually focus on like a particular activity or group.
Okay.
The football team, the band, things like that.
Gotcha.
PTAs are about the entire school.
The whole shebang.
All students,
Yeah.
all teachers, all grades.
Okay, so it's like the umbrella organization that kind of helps enhance the entire school experience.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
Not just focus on one little slice of the pie.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of the biggest misconceptions about PTAs.
Okay.
The funding.
The moolah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does the money from those bake sales and fun runs actually go?
Right. I'll admit, even I used to think it was mostly going towards parties and teacher appreciation gifts.
Yeah,
Not that those aren't important,
of course.
but I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
You're absolutely right. Those are a part of it, but it's way more strategic than that.
Okay.
PTA funding is actually directed towards 4 key areas
Okay.
that have a ripple effect on the entire school.
Oh, I like it. Okay. What are these 4 magical areas where PTA dollars are actually making a difference?
All right, so first up, you've got enhancing educational programs.
Yeah.
This is where PTAs can step in to fund all those extras that the school budget just can't cover.
Right.
Things like field trips to bring learning to life, guest speakers to expose kids to new ideas, or even specialized equipment for, hands-on science experiments.
So it's not just textbooks and tests.
Right.
It's about creating those enriching experiences that really help kids learn.
Exactly. And then there's supporting teachers in classrooms.
Okay.
This does sometimes involve those boxes of pencils and crayons that you mentioned, but it goes way beyond that.
Okay.
PTAs can help fund professional development opportunities for teachers. So they're always, learning and growing.
Right. So they can keep up with all the new stuff.
Right. They might purchase cutting-edge technology for the classroom or even award grants to teachers who have these really innovative ideas for their students.
So it's not just about the stuff. It's about investing in the teachers themselves.
Yes.
What's number 3?
This one is all about community, building a strong sense of community.
Okay.
Community building events. Think back to your own school days.
Yeah.
Those memorable events that brought everyone together, like movie nights, cultural festivals, or even just those casual coffee mornings where parents can connect.
Right.
Those often have the PTA's fingerprints all over them.
I see what you mean. Those events might seem like just fun and games, but they play a role in creating a more connected, supportive school environment.
Absolutely. When families feel connected to the school, they're more likely to be involved in their kids' education and contribute to a positive school climate, which benefits everyone.
Makes sense. All right, spill the beans on number 4. That 4th and final area where that PTA money is going to work.
This one might surprise you: facility improvements.
Oh, okay.
PTAs can contribute to making the school a more welcoming and functional space for everyone.
Okay.
We're not just talking a fresh coat of paint here.
Yeah.
They might fund upgrades to playgrounds, invest in new technology for the library, or even help enhance security features to keep kids safe.
So they're really thinking about the long-term impact on the physical environment of the school,
Exactly.
not just the immediate needs.
Yeah, they're looking at how to make the school a better place to learn and grow both now and in the future.
Okay, so we've debunked that myth that PTAs are all about bake sales and pizza parties.
Right.
We've seen how their funding impacts everything from educational programs to teacher support, community building, and even those big-ticket facility improvements.
Yeah.
But here's the million-dollar question. If PTAs are doing all this incredible work, why are some people still hesitant to join? What's holding them back?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The reasons behind low PTA engagement, they're complex.
Sure.
And they really vary depending on the school, the community, and even individual parents' experiences.
Yeah, of course.
But there are definitely some common threads we can unpack.
Well, let's get into it. I think one of the biggest things I hear from other parents is, I just don't have the time.
Oh, yeah.
Between work and family and everything else. Who has time for another commitment?
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
For so many parents, that perceived time commitment is a huge barrier.
Right.
They're already juggling so much
Totally.
that the thought of adding PTA meetings and volunteer hours to their already packed schedules just feels overwhelming.
It's like, ooh, one more thing.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, sometimes there's that whole click factor
Oh, yeah.
that can make people hesitate to join.
That's another big one. Unfortunately, some PTAs develop this reputation for being exclusive.
Right.
Or dominated by a particular group of parents.
Yeah.
And that can make newcomers feel like they don't belong.
Sure.
Or their voices won't be heard.
Yeah, it's like this unspoken inner circle that can be really intimidating to break into.
Exactly.
And if you don't already know the right people,
Right.
you might feel like your contributions aren't going to be valued.
Yeah, that sense of not belonging can be a major turnoff for potential member.
For sure. And it's not just about feeling welcomed.
Right.
It's also about feeling like you can actually make a difference.
Exactly.
Like, show me the impact or I'm out.
Right. If you don't see how your involvement is actually making a difference, then why bother?
Right, exactly. And this ties into another common barrier, unclear purpose.
Yeah.
If parents don't understand what the PTA actually does,
Right.
or how their involvement contributes to the school's success,
Yeah.
they might not see the point in joining.
Totally.
So it's not necessarily a lack of interest,
Right.
but maybe a lack of understanding about what the PTA is all about and what they actually accomplish.
Exactly. And that lack of understanding can often stem from poor communication.
Okay.
If information about meetings or events or volunteer opportunities isn't readily available
Right.
or communicated effectively.
Parents might not even know how to get involved even if they want to.
Exactly.
It's like trying to join a game that's already started and you don't even know the rules.
Right, you're left feeling lost and unsure how to participate.
Exactly.
Well,
Okay, and then there's another big one that I think often gets overlooked.
yeah.
Financial pressure.
Yes.
Not everyone is in a position to donate money.
Right.
And that expectation, whether it's real or perceived,
Yeah.
can make some parents hesitant to join.
Yeah, if you feel like you can't afford to contribute financially,
Right.
you might just feel like you don't belong.
Exactly.
Even if your time and skills are valuable.
For sure. And that feeling of financial pressure can be especially acute for families who are already struggling to make ends meet.
Absolutely.
Like the last thing they need is another organization asking for money.
Right.
So we've got 5 major barriers to PTA engagement.
Yeah.
Lack of time, the clique factor, unclear purpose, poor communication, and financial pressure.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears for a minute and talk about the bigger picture here.
Yep.
If PTAs are facing all these challenges, why should anyone care? What's at stake?
That's where we need to connect this to the bigger picture of education and community.
Okay.
The reality is that PTAs, when they're functioning well, can have a profound impact on the lives of students, its teachers, the entire school community.
I'm intrigued. Give me some concrete examples. What kind of impact are we talking about?
Well, let's look at the numbers nationwide. PTAs have over 2.5 million members.
Wow. That's a lot of people. And what kind of impact are all those people making?
Collectively, school groups, including PTAs, raise over $1.5 billion each year. And remember, this money is largely going to extras.
Right.
Those programs, resources, improvements that directly benefit students.
Okay.
We're talking about a significant investment in our children's education.
So it's not just about small change being collected here and there.
Right.
This is serious funding
Yeah.
that's filling the gaps and making a tangible difference in classrooms.
Exactly. And when you consider how this money is being allocated, enhancing educational programs, supporting teachers, building community, improving facilities, you start to see the ripple effect of PTA involvement.
I do.
It touches every aspect of the school experience.
So the potential here is huge. If every school had a thriving, engaged PTA, it could significantly impact the quality of education
Absolutely.
and the overall school experience for millions of children.
Yeah.
But how do we get there? How do we bridge that gap between the potential and the reality?
That's the question we'll dive into next.
Okay.
How can PTAs overcome those barriers to engagement and become more accessible, inclusive, and impactful?
All right. I'm ready to uncover those solutions. Let's take a deeper dive into what PTAs can do to become a force for positive change in our schools.
Let's do it. And it's not just about the money, A truly engaged PPA brings something even more valuable to the table.
Okay, what's that?
A collective voice for parents and the community.
Okay.
When parents are actively involved, they actually have a say in shaping their kids' educational experience.
That makes sense. But realistically, how do we overcome those barriers that we talked about?
Yeah.
How do we make PTAs more accessible and appealing, especially for those of us who are already, stretched thin?
Yeah, that's the key challenge. And luckily, there are a lot of practical steps that PTAs can take to become more inclusive and impactful.
Okay.
I like it. It starts with recognizing that not everyone can commit the same amount of time or resources.
So ditching that one-size-fits-all approach
Yeah.
and offering more flexible ways to participate.
Yeah.
I like that. What would that look like in practice?
Imagine a PTA that offers like a menu of options, so to speak.
Yeah.
Instead of expecting everyone to attend every meeting or chair a big committee, they create smaller, more manageable roles.
Okay.
Maybe you volunteer for a one-time event, or you help with a specific project from home,
Right.
or even just, offer to stuff envelopes for an hour.
Right. That's doable.
Yeah.
That's a game changer for those of us who can't commit to a huge time investment up front.
Right.
But what about that clique problem? How can PTAs become more welcoming, especially for new families who might feel like outsiders?
That requires a conscious effort to create a truly inclusive environment.
Hmm.
It's about actively reaching out to new families, making an effort to introduce them to other members.
Right.
And create opportunities for everyone's voice to be heard,
Yeah.
not just the usual suspects.
So ditch that inner circle mentality.
Yes,
And make it clear that everyone's welcome and has something valuable to contribute.
exactly. It's about shifting the culture from like an exclusive club to a collaborative team where everyone feels valued and respected.
I love that shift in mindset. Now, what about the issue of unclear purpose?
Yeah.
How can PTAs do a better job of communicating what they do and showing the tangible impact they're making?
I think transparency is crucial.
Okay.
PTAs need to go beyond, those vague statements about supporting the school
Yeah.
and clearly articulate their mission, their goals, and how their activities translate into real results for students.
So no more hiding behind generalizations. Show parents how their involvement translates into a better educational experience for their kids.
Exactly. Instead of just saying, we support teachers,
Right?
showcase a specific example of how PTA funding helped a teacher create an amazing new learning experience for their students.
I like it.
Or instead of just saying, we improved the school,
Yeah.
share before and after photos of, the playground renovation, the PTA funding.
Show, don't tell, right?
Yeah.
But even with a clear perk, it's all for nothing if parents aren't getting the message.
Right.
How can PTAs step up their communication game and make sure parents are in the loop?
I think it's all about meeting parents where they are. And using a variety of communication channels, it's not enough to just rely on the school newsletter or occasional email. I mean,
Right.
we live in a digital world,
Right.
so why not leverage social media or text messaging or even create like a dedicated PTA website
Oh, yeah.
that's easy to navigate?
So a multi-pronged approach that reaches parents through the channels they're already using.
Well, exactly.
Makes sense. That addresses the time constraints, the click factor, unclear purpose, and poor communication.
Right.
But what about that last barrier we discussed, financial pressure?
Yes.
How can PTAs make it crystal clear that you don't have to be, rolling in dough to be a valued member?
This requires a fundamental shift in mindset,
Okay.
moving away from the idea that financial contributions are the only way to participate.
So recognizing that time and skills and passion are just as valuable as dollars and cents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Highlight the value of other forms of support.
Okay.
Maybe someone can't afford to donate, but they can offer an hour a week to help in the library.
Right.
Or share their expertise in graphic design to create flyers for events.
Okay.
When you create a culture that values all forms of support,
Yeah.
you open the door for much broader participation.
That's a message I think a lot of parents need to hear.
Yeah.
We've outlined some really practical solutions that PTAs can implement to break down those barriers to engagement.
Yeah.
But I want to shift gears for a minute
Yeah.
and paint a picture of what success looks like.
Okay.
What does a thriving, engaged PTA actually look like in action.
Imagine a PTA meeting that's buzzing with energy.
Okay.
Not just with the same familiar faces, but with the diverse group of parents, teachers, and community members all excited to be there.
Uh-huh.
People are brainstorming ideas, sharing perspectives, coming together to problem solve.
I'm feeling more energized just hearing you describe it.
Yeah.
It sounds like a place where people feel genuinely excited to be involved.
Yes, and it's not just about the meetings.
Right.
That energy translates into action. Parents are volunteering in classrooms, helping out at events, advocating for school improvements, celebrating student successes.
Right.
It becomes this positive cycle
Yeah.
where the more people feel involved and see the impact they're making, the more they want to contribute.
It's like a snowball effect, gathering momentum
Yeah.
as more people jump on board
Right.
and feel empowered to make a difference.
Exactly. And that positive energy spills over into the entire school community,
Right.
creating a more supportive and enriching environment for everyone.
So we're not just talking about some abstract concept of engagement. We're talking about a real tangible shift in the culture of the school.
Absolutely. When a PTA is truly thriving, it becomes this like invisible force
Yeah.
that elevates the entire school experience for students, teachers, and families. It's something you can feel, a sense of community, shared purpose, and genuine excitement about what's happening at the school.
That's such a powerful image.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic for a minute.
Okay.
Not every PTA is going to magically transform overnight. What advice would you give to parents who are listening and thinking, okay, this all sounds great,
Yeah.
but where do I even start?
I think the first step is to simply show up.
Okay.
Check out your school's PTA website, attend a meeting, or even just strike up a conversation with a current PTA member.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
So taking that initial step, even if it feels a little intimidating.
Exactly. Remember, PTAs are made up of people just like you, parents who care about their children's education and want to make a difference. You don't have to have all the answers or be a fundraising superstar.
Sure.
Just show up with an open mind and a willingness to contribute.
I love that advice. But what if you show up and it's exactly what you feared, a cliquey group that's not very receptive to new ideas?
That's where your voice becomes even more important.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to speak up. Share your ideas. Ask questions. Remember, you're not alone. There are likely other parents who feel the same way.
So be the change you want to see, even if it feels daunting at first.
Exactly. Even small actions can have a ripple effect. Maybe you suggest a new fundraising idea that's more inclusive.
Right.
Or you volunteer to create a welcome packet for new families.
Okay.
The point is to be proactive and start shifting the culture from within.
That's empowering. So even if your PTA isn't perfect, you can still be a catalyst for positive change. But what about those parents who are truly strapped for time?
Yeah.
The ones who are thinking, I'd love to get involved, but I barely have time to breathe, let alone attend PTA meetings.
I'd say focus on what you can do,
Okay.
even if it's small. Maybe it's offering to help with a one-time event, sharing a skill like graphic design or writing,
Right.
or even just spreading the word about PTA activities on social media.
So every little bit counts.
Yes,
Even those seemingly small contributions can add up to something bigger.
absolutely. And sometimes just showing your support for the PTA,
Okay.
even if you can't be actively involved, can make a difference.
How so?
Attend a school event, thank a PTA volunteer, or simply tell other parents about the good work the PTA is doing.
Those are all great suggestions. But what about those parents who just don't see the point of the PTA? The ones who think, the school seems to be doing just fine without my involvement.
I'd encourage those parents to take a closer look at what their PTA is actually doing.
Yeah.
Attend a meeting, read their newsletters, talk to other parents who are involved. You might be surprised by the impact they're having, even if it's not always front and center.
So don't judge a book by its cover,
Right.
or a PTA by its bake sales.
Exactly. There's often a lot more happening behind the scenes than people realize.
For sure. And remember, the PTA isn't just about supporting the school. It's about supporting your child's education
Right.
and creating a better future for all students.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've explored why PTAs matter, the barriers that keep parents from joining, and some really concrete steps PTAs can take to become more engaging and inclusive.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, I want to bring the focus back to you, the listener.
Mhm.
What stands out to you most from this deep dive? What resonates with your own experiences or perceptions of PTAs?
I'm curious to know what has sparked your thinking. Have you had positive or negative experiences with PTAs in the past?
Yeah?
What challenges or opportunities do you see within your own school's PTA?
Yeah, it really is fascinating how much those personal experiences can shape how we see something like a PTA.
They really do.
But what's really hitting me as we've been talking is this idea that, we don't have to just sit back and watch.
Right.
We can actually shape those experiences both for
Yeah.
ourselves and for other people.
Absolutely. It's about shifting our mindset, from what's the PTA doing for me
Right.
to what can I do to make our PTA better? That's where the power is.
I like that. And that goes back to something you mentioned earlier about PTAs being that collective voice
Right.
for parents and the community.
Hmm.
It's not just about fundraising or organizing events. It's about advocating for our kids and making sure their needs are being met.
Exactly. When parents are engaged and informed, they can be such a powerful force for change within the school system.
That is a really empowering thought. But I know some people listening might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great in theory,
Yeah.
but I'm just one person.
Mm.
What difference can I really make?
I understand that feeling, but I truly believe that even small actions can have a ripple effect.
Okay.
Think about it like this. If every parent who felt that way actually took one small step,
Yeah.
imagine the collective impact.
It would be huge.
Yeah.
So it's not about waiting for someone else to fix things. It's about taking ownership and recognizing that we all play a role
Right.
in shaping our kids' educational experience.
Exactly. It starts with each of us taking that first step, whether it's attending a meeting, volunteering from an event, or just having a conversation with another parent about what we can do to improve our PTA.
Right. And remember, it's not about being perfect or having all the answers. It's about showing up, being willing to learn and grow, and working together to make a difference.
Absolutely.
And who knows, you might even surprise yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe discover some hidden talents, make new friends, or even find a passion for advocating for education that you never knew you had.
That happens a lot, actually.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of PTAs,
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave you with a challenge.
Okay.
Take a moment and think about your own PTA experience. What's working well?
Yeah.
What could be better?
Right.
And most importantly, what's one small step that you can take today to make a difference?
Maybe it's reaching out to the PTA president with an idea,
Okay.
offering to help with an upcoming event, or simply starting a conversation with a fellow parent about what they'd like to see change.
Right.
Remember, every action, no matter how small, can contribute to a more thriving and impactful PTA.
And a more thriving PPA means a better educational experience for our children, our teachers, and our whole community.
Absolutely.
So go out there and be the change.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep making a difference.